Good evening, everyone. This is a workshop meeting agenda of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Call the meeting to order with the salute to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor John Tomato,
Here.
Councilman Catalina,
Here.
Councilman Della Ripa,
Here.
Councilman John Graziano,
Here.
Councilwoman Evelyn Schubert. Here.
Okay, and Councilwoman Hudson and Councilman Yazdi are excused for tonight. We also have our Deputy Clerk Terry Sauer with us, Administrative Assistant Amy Greenspan, Business Administrator Michael Sondermeyer, and Borough Attorney Dawn Sullivan. This meeting is called to pursuant to the provisions of Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on January 9, 2023. Copies were provided to the local news media and posted continuously in the municipal building. A copy of this notice is available to the public and is on file of the Office of the Municipal Clerk. As per State Fire Code, I am required to acknowledge that there are two emergency exits in this council chambers, the main entrance which you entered through, and a secondary exit to the left of where I am seated. If there is an emergency, walk orderly to the exit, exit through the door, down the stairs, and out the building. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we do have one non-agenda item, which is a resolution for a grant for the Municipal Drug Alliance. So that will be added at the end of the meeting. Okay, number 6, Orchard and Wallace Street sidewalks. This is second and final reading, public hearing, bond ordinance number 21-2023, special assessment, Orchard and Wallace sidewalks. Public notice statement, please.
Sorry. Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public, so the motion may be made that it, that it be read by title.
Okay.
I can't hear you. Sorry, the thing wasn't on. Sorry.
Okay, can I have a motion to read the ordinance by title?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Graziano and Del Rey.
Just reading this in.
Okay, read it. Yep.
Bond ordinance providing the sidewalk improvements along Orchard Street and Wallace Avenue, in by the Borough of Bloomingdale, the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, appropriating $250,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $237,500 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof, and the special assessment of cost thereof.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open up public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Graziano and Del Rey. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak? This is the time you come up and ask questions. We do have our borough engineer here tonight, so can answer any questions that you have. Just come on up, state your name and address.
Town council, attorney.
Right here.
Hi, Ms. Sullivan. Ms. Sullivan, before I speak, my name is Paul Argent, by the way, and I'm a property owner at 22 Wallace Avenue. In accordance to the American Disabilities Act, I need an accommodation, and I want to request you directly of that accommodation, if you don't mind.
What accommodation?
For American Disabilities Act accommodation when I speak.
Okay, but what accommodation do you need?
Thank you. Okay. I need, if there's a time limit, is there a time limit I'm speaking?
No.
Well, you just take your
So,
time.
There was a time, I just need that time, and that's really, that's really it. All right, so I appreciate that. And since there is no time limit, I don't need to ask for extra time. All right, my concern is a property owner since 1996. My wife and I, we own 22 Wallace Avenue. Personally, this is, I don't know if the board or the council has considered that how anti-American this is. It may be in accordance to due process with your meetings and everything, but this is clearly a Fifth Amendment violation. It's a takings of my property. And under the Fifth Amendment, where everybody thinks you have a right to remain silent with the crime, there's a piece in the Fifth Amendment which we cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Now you're following due process because you published everything. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. It's like me walking into a hotel room, going to a local hotel and saying, how much are you gonna pay me to stay here? Because that's what you guys are doing. Now, in 2019, the federal government, the U.S. Supreme Court, and I want you all to write this down and to take careful measure of what you're doing. Rosemary Nick versus the Township of Scott, Pennsylvania. Miss Nick won a Supreme Court case with the Tucker Act, which is a Fifth Amendment violation, or a takings claim, by the Township of Scott, Pennsylvania. The town came in and said on her farm she had a private cemetery. And on that private cemetery, they said you have to have public access. Well, before Nick and the Township of Pennsylvania, what had to happen if you wanted to take advantage of the Fifth Amendment and the properties takings clause in the Tucker Act, you had to go through all this rigmarole of making sure you got relief, and Ms. Sullivan may be aware of something called the Rooker-Feldman Act, making sure you got relief, and you went before the state courts and did everything you possibly can do in front of the state court. And that takings clause was overturned in Nick versus the Township of Scott, Pennsylvania by the Supreme Court in 2019, where every single one of the property owners who are concerned is $250,000 in this economy, in this day and age. Now, I don't live at 22 Wallace Avenue. It's a two-family, grandfathered piece of property, okay? My sidewalk is in perfect condition, okay? I don't need to have my sidewalk repaired. And I don't need anybody here to tell me when and how I should have my sidewalk repaired. And I don't need the due process of you assessing me, because I don't care what this New Jersey state government says. We all pledge allegiance to the flag. This is against the Fifth Amendment and the taking of my property. And to just be very clear, the takings of property is any usage. So what happened in Nick, when they said to Rosemary Nick, they said you have to give public access because you have a cemetery on your farm. And the town said, whoa, we didn't know that this was private property. We didn't know that you could fight us with the Fifth Amendment. And they overturned the ordinance. They overturned the ordinance, made an exception for her. Well, the federal government said, you know what? You still took her property temporarily, or a portion thereof, and you owe just compensation. So, if the public, you may take property through eminent domain, or you may take property in any other manner. And this is a taking of people's property. And you can't do that just because the state gives you a grant and you decide, oh, well, we'll have the specific homeowners. Now, if you want to have the whole town pay for that specific sidewalk, which is for public use, or you would be in a good position. The last time I checked at 22 Wallace Avenue, in order to cover CYA this town, you guys should have cones up or ribbons up to say that that sidewalk is in disrepair. But the last time, there was no engineer that said that this is a dangerous sidewalk. We've been maintaining that property since 1996, and we thought that we've been doing it diligently. But out of the blue, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to say to our tenants, you got $13,886 that we're gonna have to raise your rent. You know, so I really, really urge, before any signing of this ordinance, to understand the Federal Takings Act, the Tucker Act, the Fifth Amendment, and read Rosemary Nick versus the Township of Scott, Pennsylvania. All right, and you cannot presume that any clause in the Constitution is to be without effect. You cannot presume that any clause in our United States Constitution can be without effect. This is affecting these property owners, and believe me, my wife and I were very proud and happy and thankful to everybody up here and for what you're doing, but we can't run amok. You have to be responsible and understand before you pass any ordinance on this, because the ramifications that are involved here when the property owners realize their rights, that this is a taking, albeit temporarily, of the property. You know, this is not a homeowners association where you can say my outside shutters have to be green and my house has to be pink. Okay? This is something that you got a grant from the town. If you can't manage the money and use it properly and all that, I think I asked the engineer, or I asked the borough administrator, Mike, when we spoke on the phone, are you changing the elevations of the street?
That would be the decision by the engineer and the plans.
Right.
I obviously have not seen that,
It's
all
not
right?
good enough.
But we are doing an improvement of your road, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there is an easement right that the town has to go in there and do the sidewalks, and we do have a law on the books to do assessment. And I'm not debating what you're telling me at all, okay? We believe that the project that we did on Hamilton, Rafkin Road, Red Twig, Leary, Enion, that we've done all these assessments, which improves the value of your home and what's going on. I don't know what your sidewalks look like. I have not
My sidewalks
personally
are
looked
in
at.
good, Mike, I got a good story. I remember when they were done, we had a contract that came up, and it was $7,500 at the time. He said, this was back in '96. He says, I don't want any money, just pay me at the end, shake my hand, and there's our contract. And we're happy with that. What it comes down to is the law that's on the books that you have the ability to assess. You don't have the ability to assess specific homeowners. You can't pinpoint out a specific homeowners. This is a town government, it's a town municipality. You have the ability to assess homeowners, okay, globally. Anything
That is
short-
incorrect. The
Okay.
statute is specifically for the
Well, then-
properties benefited by the improvements.
Well, then it's unconstitutional.
Well-
And that's what you have to understand. It's unconstitutional, and the monetary damage to the town is immense. Because if you go back 6 years, and these other assessments were done within the last 6 years, I assume.
Then some, yeah, go ahead.
And if they're done within the last 6 years and you take $250,000 a pop, you're talking millions of dollars that the town globally can be assessed. There's a difference, that there is not a danger, it's not about safety, it's about decorum. It's about that, okay, we want something better. Yeah, of course we would like to have something better. But right now, you have no idea, as far as my personal wealth, as far as my personal ability to afford $13,500, no matter how good, and Mike did a great job of selling it to me, you know, saying, well, no matter how good it is, oh yeah, it's a 10-year thing and all that stuff. It's not your position to come into my property and to say, I'm looking to take it all temporarily so we can have everybody's sidewalks matched. I didn't buy into that homeowners association. That's why we bought in 1996. You know, so specifically, you're treading on dangerous ground, specifically when you're trying to use, albeit temporarily, and incorporate something into a dangerous ground where you say there's zero cost to the town. Well, there's zero cost to the town, but you're pinpointing specific homeowners, and it's a taking. And Mayberry versus Madison basically proves that you cannot presume any clause in the United States Constitution to be intended to be without effect. So that's albeit the power that the town has, you know. Especially when you're treading on the characterization of a sidewalk, and you're trying to integrate it with some sort of a public program. And I don't want to dwell on it, but I just want to say that you had to act accordingly, you know. And we would be more happy if our sidewalk was in disrepair, but we don't feel that we're in a position now to adhere to any type of ordinance, because to me, it's as simple as walking into the hotel, and the hotel's, and I'm saying, hey, how much are you gonna pay me to stay here for the night? The owner's gonna look like I'm crazy. And that's why I don't wanna sound crazy up here, but it's not proper what's going on. And I think you need to take very, very caution and pay attention to the Tucker Act and the takings, and understand the power that you have. You can't have that constitutional overreach. And I think another case, Ms. Sullivan, for you to look at is the Yonko versus Payne from 1976, where there is immunity for sidewalks, you know, for private landowners, that there's no danger here of you guys, because you have that immunity if somebody gets protected. I don't. All I know is that my sidewalk, that guy guaranteed that the sidewalk is good for 75 years. It was a verbal thing. I thought it was a little bit absurd. But yet at the same time, you have the immunity when you come in and change the sidewalk with the Tort Claims Act and everything else. I don't as a homeowner. I don't know how long this is going to last. All I know is that ours has lasted since 1976, and we're very, very, very happy with it. And, you know, again, I commend what you're doing, but it's not proper in today's world, 2023, to come and just by virtue of this certified letter, of what you did here, it already constitutes a taking. But I'm asking the borough and the council to take a look at this before you approve that ordinance tonight. Take a step back and look, because I think it's an overreach. And I think the buck has to stop here, where we understand the federal law has to be in compliance. And we have other protections within the state law, but as far as the state law is concerned, it's a little bit of confusion. But the Tucker Act and the Nick case is sustained. I can march into federal court with the takings. I don't want to threaten my neighbors. I live close by in Luton Township, and I'm not here to cause havoc. I'm just here to bring that on how I feel as a property owner. It's against the Fifth Amendment, and it's not proper of what you're doing. And you got to act accordingly, please.
Okay, thank you.
do you have any other cases or anything else you want to cite to this? Because neither of these really deal with takings directly.
Which one?
Either one of them. You cited Nick versus Township of Scott, Pennsylvania, several times, quite extensively.
Yeah.
And that has to do with whether things originate in state or federal court.
Yeah, that's,
So I don't see where that applies to whether we are
I do.
we are legally taking or not taking anything. It would be a matter of whether you sued in state or federal court if we did so.
It's not the venue for
No,
illegal.
actually, it would impede upon your rights in federal court if I were to go to state court and sue the town. But,
Could you
let's,
tell me what part of the reading? I mean, I have the ruling right here. That's what I've been reading while you've been talking.
which one?
Nick versus Scott.
Yeah. We're gonna look at, on page, bottom of,
What we're gonna do,
you have the United States versus Garden, you have Aline versus the United States, right? You have the Monsanto versus Greenboro Seed Farms, okay? You have Trump versus Hawaii, and you have Monterey versus Del Monte Dunes. And that again, you have to understand that takings is not title to the property. A takings is a use, U-S-E, is a use of the property, albeit temporarily. Okay, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're assessing somebody 13,000, it should be the opposite. And then, or at least there should be some sort of an agreement for the long term between the taxpayer that the taxes aren't gonna go up because of the things, but that's besides the point and outside.
what we're gonna
of the
do
case.
here is, and I don't wanna get into a debate legally, because we're not attorneys. Our attorney's been writing everything you said down, okay? So we're gonna take the advice of our attorney, and we're gonna go on to the next subject.
Yeah.
Next person that wants to speak. I think you made it pretty clear in what you're telling us.
So it's on page 13 and 14 of the, 13 and 14 is all the case law that you need as far as the takings, you know.
So we'll let our
And-
attorney look at case law, and then we'll go from there. All right, meanwhile, we will continue on with this part of the meeting.
And I don't know if it's in Nick, but Horn versus the Department of Agriculture is a big case that constitutes a taking.
Thank you, appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your time, I appreciate again everything you do with all sincerity. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to come up and speak?
Morris Siddles, 3 Orchard. I don't have the paper in front of me, so I don't know exactly how much, but we're getting assessed to like $5,800 for
Okay.
120 square foot, or
If you give,
3 Orchard? My question is,
okay.
do we have to use you? Can I get another contractor? See if I can get a better price for the sidewalk?
We prefer,
Sidewalk and
we prefer
I know what you prefer.
you didn't, and I can tell you from experience with other homeowners doing this, you're not gonna get a better deal than what we're going to get, because we're doing a huge project.
Right.
We've had other people do that
It just seems awfully
and get a
high.
price. Believe me,
Seems awfully high.
this is
you know?
not going to happen tomorrow.
Well, I know that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you want to go out and get a price, I think you'll see the comparison of what we're doing. We prefer not, and the reason, one of the reasons is when you pour a sidewalk, and you pour a lot, and you have somebody else pour it, it becomes in different colors. It'll look
Yeah.
like that, like checkerboard. But at the end of the day, you can pay this over 10 years, which you probably know.
Right.
The interest rate is whatever the interest rate we get, okay? It's, I believe, a separate bill from your taxes, correct? It comes in a separate bill. And it's a huge project. So we prefer not, and Tommy, maybe you can interject a little bit here with that, because we've had other homeowners on Hamilton that tried that, and they went out and got prices, and
Yeah,
it didn't work.
there's actually a contractor in Hamilton that works for a concrete contractor.
Right.
And when we explained to them, my name's Tom Barati, by the way, I'm your borough engineer. When we explained to them that there's a 2-year guarantee on the work, and that all the work is gonna be done monolithically so that it matches, and it's gonna be to DOT standards,
Right.
they couldn't beat the price. They couldn't beat it. He lays concrete for a living.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that the $5,800 is probably gonna go down. The reason we go through this whole process, or not the reason, but the reason the numbers are a little bit higher is that we don't wanna go through this process twice. So my budget's a little high. We're hoping when we go out to bid that the numbers are gonna come down.
Right.
So I know the estimate is about $5,800. I can't tell you for a certainty, but if our track record is any good, then I can tell you that it's probably gonna be less.
Okay.
And, you're certainly welcome to get an estimate.
Right.
But I don't think the workmanship is gonna be equal to the rest of the street and the grade of concrete that they use and the DOT standards that they use. And it's all gonna be done with ADA standards, Americans with Disabilities Act. So
Yeah.
we prefer to do it as one project.
Yeah.
You can certainly get an estimate, but
Okay.
I think you'll be hard pressed to beat it.
All right.
Yeah.
And then-
These are only estimates. We did not go out to bid yet, so I think it's gonna be less. I hope it's gonna be less.
Yeah. Timeframe.
So everybody should be aware on the agenda tonight is an award to a contractor to install brand-new water and sewer lines throughout your whole neighborhood. That's coming this year.
Right.
That'll be done by the fall. We hope they start within a month or so.
Okay.
And while that's getting built, we're gonna go out to bid on the next phase of the project, which is the DOT grant. And by the way, the DOT grant comes with strings, just like all state grants. And one of those strings is that we make sure that the curbing and the drainage and the sidewalks all meet their standards. So we really need to do this project in order to get the grant money to pave the road and install drainage improvements and curbing. Mind you that the borough is paying for the curbing, or the borough as a whole, along with the DOT grant, is paying for drainage, curbing, asphalt, and the water and sewer projects.
Right.
So there's a lot that the borough is investing in this, on Orchard and Wallace, on
Right.
these projects, so
Can I ask you another question? Why is it the homeowners?
it.
Why is it falling on the homeowners to pay for the
It's-
sidewalks that you want to
The
improve?
state of New Jersey has said that sidewalks are the responsibility of businesses and homeowners. That's state statute.
Okay.
So I'm not an attorney either, but,
I just know other towns have done it and the towns paid for it. That's why,
the towns that I work for, there's one town that I work for that pays for it, but, that's it. Every other town I work for assesses the homeowners and the businesses. Yeah.
I've talked to a few people, and and their town has paid for it.
I don't know, I know.
If we,
one-
if
I know
we got a
one
full
town-
grant like we did on Union Ave for sidewalks, then there's no obligation to the homeowner, which we got the CBDG grant that you saw from Main Street, Union Ave to, I think it's the crossing of Oak, actually, we went further, the Rapkin Road. That's where it did. That was paid for by grant money, so you can't double dip. So the grant paid for part of that, and we paid the rest of it.
Right.
As a town. There's no grant money for this in sidewalks. It's for the curbing, the asphalt, and the drainage. The water utility that we're doing and the sewer is all, we bonded for, the town is paying for all that, for all those upgrades, as we did on Hamilton, Boston Street, Park Ave, where else did we do water and, where else did we? Andrews, the project we just did up there, all right, that was complete rebuilt, because that was a lake at one time, rebuilt bottom to top.
So just, when you look at the aggregate of what's being involved in your neighborhood and invested in your neighborhood, it's almost $2 million, of which maybe 10% of it or less will be in the form of sidewalks that are the homeowner's responsibilities.
Right.
So it's a huge investment of borough funds, borough can't fund 100% of it. That's why they went to DOT for some money,
Right.
and that's why the assessment has to take place.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing will ever get done.
And I think there's, if I may, right, I'll keep it kind of succinct. There's also this concept or idea that the borough is paying for it, right? And if the borough is paying for it, you're still paying for it. So if when we did.
Well, I know, yeah,
if
but
we-
it's-
When we did Andrew and Boston and Hamilton, we kept to that standard and we assessed
Yeah.
everybody. And we'd still be assessing everybody all the time.
Right.
So it's coming out of the pocket, one way or the
Yeah,
other.
it's either gonna come out of taxes or out.
One way or the other. And but then think of the
Here or
people
there.
that will come in and say, why am I paying for your sidewalks?
Yeah.
It's kind of the reverse style,
They're getting.
you know? But most of the sidewalks
engineer?
on,
Yes.
Okay.
go ahead.
Getting to the work, when they start doing the water and sewer, the gas and, not gas, water and sewer, right? Are they gonna be ripping up the sidewalks from the get-go, or
There may be some curb and sidewalks that are.
curb lines, got no curbs?
Well, that's another reason why we're coming through, we're putting in curbs.
Our curbs are bad, but, yeah.
Well, that's all part of this, you know, you can't put curbs without replacing
No, I'm
the
just asking you
sidewalks.
because, you know,
So, but the answer is
the
yes.
safety of,
Yes.
you know,
So
are
the-
we gonna be without sidewalks for a year and a half?
It'll temporarily be patched with asphalt, okay? We're not gonna pour new concrete and then come back.
No. I'm-
90% of the sidewalks that are currently there now, when the work is done, will remain until the sidewalk project part gets coming.
Yeah.
When we have to do a crossing for the water to put the new valve boxes in, and a piece of curb's gotta come out, and a piece of sidewalk, that all gets installed, and then they'll do asphalt temporary.
Yeah, but, so you're
Yeah.
not gonna clear?
No.
You're not gonna?
Not gonna
strip
clear it
everything
and
out?
leave, no.
Yeah.
That's the last part of the project, is the curbing and the sidewalks.
All right.
Thank you for your questions.
Anyone else?
Has there been a feasibility study on the liability for the?
You gotta come back up.
And then I'll start. Sorry.
Thank you so much again, Paul Argent. Has there been a feasibility study on the ADA compliant sidewalks that are now coming in reference to the liability that you could incur? For instance, if I forget, I don't know what they call that, on the curbing, let's say for a blind person,
The curb drops.
the curb drops.
Curb drops at the
What-
intersections,
what-
which at your intersection, there is no drop. So it's say the
Right,
person
because
actually
we're
can't cross through your
because we're
property.
grandfathered in and therefore there is no liability.
But we're not grandfathered in because that's our curbing, that's Bloomingdale's curbing and Bloomingdale's road. So the DOT is mandating that I put a ramp there. So there'll be a ramp and truncated domes for accessibility. And then.
So in order to take the money, you're mandated to.
That's
to-
right.
To make that ADA compliant.
DOT won't let me pave unless intersections are brought up to standard and crossings are brought up to standard, and the running slopes and cross slopes all meet ADA accessibility standards. They don't, like I said, it comes with strings. The state doesn't wanna give us money unless we're improving the whole neighborhood and bringing it up to current standards.
Right,
So
okay.
it's actually a benefit that the DOT gave us the grant, but we do have to do the assessment in order to get there.
Right. And the assessment to all the homeowners, I wouldn't be against, but I'm against it for specific homeowners, you know, because everybody in the town can use that site. Yeah, and it's just, all I know is in Mountain Lakes in Booton, where on your way to Booton Township, I think it's the town of Booton just put in brand new sidewalks like 2-3 years ago, and all that ADA stuff is all worn out of it.
Aren't those county roads?
Maybe Fanning Road, I'm not
The
sure.
county has to do the same thing, all the intersections have to be brought up to standards. And
Because
the
I get
county-
scared with the 2-year warranty, you know, and then there's,
The one thing that, in our ADA ramps, a lot of towns use plastic,
yes.
right? We don't, we use steel. So they won't crack. They'll remain, they'll be a little brown, they'll get weather beaten a little bit, so that's what they're supposed to do, but they won't wear out. And that's kind of why we go to the steel instead of using the plastic like everybody else does.
Okay.
Most towns, I should say. So we don't have to come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions? Sorry, I didn't mean
You did, that was good, you did pretty good.
to, that's your one.
Anybody else have any questions? Please feel free to come up. Seeing no one, a motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now I need a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second?
That was Graciano and Del Ripa. Any comments by the council before we vote for this?
No, I thank you guys for your attendance and all your insight.
Roll call, please.
I do have
Yes.
a question, I'm sorry. So as far as the things that he mentioned,
Mhm.
are they not, valid?
We are gonna, our attorney is gonna go look into it, but in the meantime, we're going to move on this motion, and we'll get a decision from our attorney. I don't see anything in there, as far as I can tell, that it would change anything here, but we will, because
Can't speak
we're
to that.
following.
I said I can't speak
Yeah,
to that.
but we
I
have to
haven't
look into it,
reviewed
but in the meantime, we're gonna move on this. Roll call, please.
Catalano,
Yes.
Del Ripa,
Yes?
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Abstain.
We needed to go to you, John.
I'm a yes. Okay. Okay. Just make note of that, okay? Okay. Have a motion to open up early public comment. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Tom.
everyone for coming out tonight for this, too. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Tom.
And just an offer as always, if any homeowners have a question, they can email me or call my office anytime.
Yeah.
And we'll be there during the water and sewer project, my inspector will be out there. If you have any other questions, they're out there every day. So if you have any questions, feel free to bug us,
Yeah.
okay?
And if you can't get a hold of Tom, my email, Mike, just feel free to reach out. We'll answer the questions the best we can.
Enjoy the rest of your night, thank you.
Thank you too, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
I make a motion for early public comment.
So,
You don't have to move it twice.
Yeah, do. Graciano and Catalano. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Come on up, Lynn.
Linda, 86 Van Dam.
Go ahead.
As far as resolutions 2023-610 and 611, I think there's a typo in here, because both of them say, under the now resolved, the Borough Council hereby awards contract to Mike Fitzpatrick Contractors, the address, for the resurfacing of the construction department and revamping repairs in a total of $14,900. And the other one says the same thing, with a total of $4,400. So one of them's gotta be wrong.
I don't,
I think one of them had the total and the other one
They both
was
have the
just
total.
the,
Oh,
well, you said the
it's
14.
resolution. Yes, no, they're not right. Something's wrong.
I got you.
a second. You have it?
I'm trying to pull it up.
Hold on 1 second.
Six.
We got the revab one.
Is it 9 and 10?
And paving of construction parking lot.
Which one do you want here?
I have them. They're just, I didn't do these, so I
Yeah.
don't know what the,
Well, 610 talks about resurfacing for the SS Construction Department and revab total for 14,900. And then if you go to 11,
There's two different locations, yes.
for 11, it says the same thing, for the construction of revab, and construction department for a total of 40,400. So I think 10, it needs to be amended to add the total cost.
Well, mine says a total of 14,900.
And the next one says 40,000.
Yeah,
With the same language there, right?
Yeah, the word revab is come out of 6.11. Construction department repairs a total amount of 40,400, that's the revab. And the other one, it says.
So revab is included in both of them?
It says
The
revamp.
addresses,
aren't
I'm saying the
they
address.
both
so we-
revab?
The first one, construction department, has come out, it's the resurfacing of the rehab repairs
one is for revab for 14 and change.
Two separate
The other
projects.
one
Yeah,
is
you
for construction office for
Correct.
40,400.
Appreciate that.
No, it said construction department. And
I'm on the internet, so it won't open.
You want me to pull them up again? So this is-
The question I have on that same, one, which is, just for rehab was 14,900. How big is that area?
Revab, it's the part of Revab, we're calling it Revab. You know where Mike Catsock lives, that dirt road? Go up halfway up Reeves, there's a little,
Okay.
that's Bloomingdale Roads.
How
we're-
big is that?
It's, I don't know how many 100 feet it is. Huh?
See, that's what was
Yeah,
throwing me off. It's
it
all
goes
out of
right to
order.
the entrance to
Wait,
their
there it
house,
is.
all the way down the back.
How compared to my house?
It's about the length of the driveway, probably.
Can you go?
It's not longer.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's wider, not that much wider.
And they're pulling up the whole
Yeah.
pavement and putting down.
Yeah, they both had construction department. and
It's washing out.
repairs.
One is just for construction.
One should be for construction department, one should be for revamp, yes.
Right, so we'll fix that.
So,
Paying 42,900 or something, it's almost the same size as mine.
okay, hold
And
on.
mine, I had mine pulled up, asked the rock and all put down, and repaved. I paid 15.
Okay, but this is
Oh,
going,
okay.
this is, this,
Yeah, I would,
hold on,
I think if
What-
going both locations, I think it's much longer.
just
Yeah,
hold
but
on.
mine was a lot more work.
This
was
is,
done, too.
Wait a minute.
this is
Stop.
early.
Stop, okay? When you're resurfacing a road, your driveway's probably got 2 inches of asphalt, top, okay?
Okay.
The road goes down, it gets a base of 4 inches and 2 inches of asphalt on top of that. So you're talking 6 inches of asphalt all the way down. And I believe they're putting a berm on the one side so that the water don't wash out anymore. There's a lot more work involved than our driveways, all right? And I understand what a driveway costs, because I got an estimate for mine that's nowhere near that. But in the bid world, where we live, for this, it's the low bid, it is what it is, and it just costs more, there's more involved. And it's prevailing wage, a whole 9 yards, and whoever did your driveway might not be prevailing wage. They could just get people and pay them X amount of dollars an hour, but we don't have control of that. And you know, Mike, he's got a shop and he pays prevailing wage for his guys. It's just the law,
Okay,
all right?
but I guess figures should be looked at. I mean, who else gave bids?
To it? Yeah, I don't remember the third either, because you just told me to it when I asked the other day how it was. And Mike was the lowest.
Okay.
Okay?
So, just to address how we're gonna handle that, when you move the consent agenda, you have to say how we're changing 10 and 11. Which one is which amount, okay?
Okay, so the Reeves Ave one is the 14. Pen's trying to- All right, so the K is 40,400.
And J would be 14,
14 what? 14,900? Okay.
but you're also still open for early public, so.
Yes, we're not there yet.
You don't
yes.
wanna move on
No,
yet.
that's why I wrote down, so I'll forget.
Wait, do you have that ordering right though? You said J was, that's the revab one.
Right.
J is rehab, and that's
14.9.
14.9.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, anyone else wishing to come up and speak? Seeing no one, a motion to close.
I have one question.
Oh, gotta come up. That always happens. Just your name and address.
Maria Argent,
Na-
22 Wallace Ave.
Okay.
My husband spoke a little while ago. I just have a question about, you're changing the water and sewer lines, but this is just for the streets? Like the connection that's coming to the house, that's not being touched at all?
Okay, well, that part of the meeting was closed out, but I'll explain
Okay.
what we're doing there. okay? We are running the water main down, right, which I believe is, I think it's a 10-inch pipe going down, all right? And then all the laterals going off feeding the water, copper pipe to the curb, to our valve boxes, will all be new. From that point to your home is staying exactly the way it is.
Okay. And those are probably just as old as everything else, right?
That's the
So
reason we're
that-
doing it.
And so that would be the homeowner's responsibility if that ever needed to be changed? in
From the
future?
curb to the main
Uh-huh.
is our responsibility on water. Sewer laterals that we're doing, all right, that go to the main, the homeowner is responsible from the house to the main. So by us putting brand-new ones in and not costing you anything, the chances of that going bad is slim and none in a long time from now, because these are, the sewer lines that are there now, I'm saying they're probably 100 years old, most of them, all right? Because it's the old clay pipe that's down there. So we're putting new PVC pipe in underneath there, and that'll go also to meet whatever comes out of your house at the curb line.
Right, the ours at our house are probably not PVC.
No, they're
So
not. That's
they're
the,
always gonna be-
that's
that's
your
always a
response,
risk.
yes, that's your responsibility.
For us.
Yes. All right,
All right.
okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else? Motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Have a motion. Where did I get my here? Yeah, report of committees. I just lost my page because I turned it before. Report of committees. Anyone? Evie?
Yeah. I went to the library, board, of trustee meeting, yesterday, and, they have a fundraiser coming up, for, it's the Sarah Garden. She works with, Hope. One Hope is a fundraiser to buy wine, for, if you go to the event, October 13th, whatever proceeds go to the wine company. And during the Sloan Park event, that was a huge success. They had a table there, and it's still open, so if you still wanna buy, I think on Friday she closes the party, so any cases or bottles of wine that you buy will go to the library. There's also, for 2023, they already have their Dewey Pianos date, which is April 22nd. Of course, you can go online and find out all of these dates. They're still collecting for plastic. They're still collecting plastic. So far, they have 212 pounds of plastic they've been collecting. Plus, you could, also, if you have any batteries, they're collecting that as well. So they began collecting plastic film on Saturday, April 22nd, with hopes of collecting 500 pounds of plastic. To date, 212 pounds of plastic have been weighed and, are being stored in a container at DPW. And, they also want to thank the DPW staff workers, Andy and Cullen, that have been really helpful to them with this whole, collection. They have they're offering, they've started offering a mystery book club, June 6th. They're gonna close the library July 22nd for the, because of the car show, cause it gets so packed that, they're gonna close the library that day. They had a Queen's Tea, May 18th, that was a success. They're gonna do they were also at the Sloan Park Festival. It was a huge success. They've signed up, a bunch of people that didn't have library cards. And a lot of kids did the crafts. And, they will also be at Bloomingdale Celebration Day, September 23rd. there's a paint and sip coming up, but all this stuff you can find online. And then for adults, there's a charcuterie board for beginners, Wednesday, June 21st for adult programming. And that's a nice event to go to. For the senior center, their June calendar is up, and it has all their chair aerobics, all that stuff. June 15th, they're going to go see Rent at the Paper Mill Theater. And if you're a senior in town, definitely take a look at the website. We've been posting the June calendars and also the food, the lunch calendar, the Passaic County. You can have lunch at the senior center as well. For BBYC, their football registration's still open. It started April 1st. It closes September 28th. But if you want to cheer, there's a mandatory cheer choreography August 7th through 11th, and everyone knows that August comes, it's football season in this town. You can't do anything. No vacations. Then they also have camps happening. July, there's several camps, and all that's on the BBYC Bulldog website. And for the Triborough, they also have they're still asking for people to join, kids to join their first aid squad. They also have, and if you need any assistance, I think they also they let you borrow wheelchairs, and they're going to have their own dueling pianos.
October.
October.
I'm not sure the date, I think it's the end of October.
And
22nd
I'm
sticks in
sure
my
it
head.
won't interfere with the library one, because they have a bigger range, and it's Triborough, so it'll be a little bigger.
Yeah,
And,
I think it's the 21st.
October
I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's the 21st.
And that's it, nothing else. Oh, but I did want to mention that on Sunday, Pastor Chuck, that got into a motorcycle accident, invited the mayor, our mayor, the Kinnelon mayor, and the Butler mayor to, because he came back out of he had gotten into a really horrible motorcycle accident, no fault of his, it was someone else, and he had many surgeries, and it was a full house for him, and he does a lot of stuff for the towns, and they have a food pantry, as so do we. We also have our community food pantry, which was collecting food at the Sloan Park Fest. And if you need them, they have a website, and they also have a little QR code that you could donate your time to the food pantry.
Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Joe?
Regarding Sloan Park Festival, just a big shout out to the committee that was chaired by Linda Bennett. We also had Dawn Fuller, Marissa French, Sally Basili, Gail Lavelle. They all played tremendous roles in making this possible. I think it was the best one yet, and that's hard to top, the one we had last September, and they did it. I think it was a phenomenal job. The DPW showed up in full force. They had the new truck out there. They were giving out hard hats too. Of course, the fire department was there again. We thank them for coming down. The police were a great presence down there. We're part of the celebration, right, in a way, sometimes playing with kids and giving out their cards. I really want to thank Borough Administrator Mike Sondermeyer for all his help getting the stage. I know we had approved that a few meetings ago, and it all just came together very well. So thank you to this council and the mayor for their support as well, and look forward to the next one in September. And then the last one on the EDC front, we are still putting together a list of local contractors, so that way we can share that information with folks within town and promote our own. People are always looking for who can do a fence or who can do paving, whatever the case may be. So why not start promoting some people that live within our town and perform these services? So there's sign-up sheets out there for folks to go in and fill out the names of their location, their phone numbers, so that way we can add them to the list. Once we get that compiled, we'll share it generally on social media, and perhaps we'll have it available as well on our town website. That's all.
It just seems like the Sloan Park Festival just is growing every time we do it. It just gets bigger, and weather really cooperated. It was really a beautiful night to be out, and with all the food trucks and stuff. I don't think they were ever slow. I mean, the person that's from Glenmont with the wine, from Hope, really nice people to talk to. So really, they did a great job putting this together. We appreciate that. And I've been around town, and people have complimented it and really enjoyed the night. So it's really good. Really good. Anyone else?
I'll just do a quick update. We had the Bloomingdale cleanup, which I thought was a very successful event from the Environmental Commission in conjunction with our public events. We made our way around town and cleaned up both the river and a bunch of the fields in town, and it was astonishing the amount of trash that could be pulled from all these environments. And I want to thank the DPW for getting out, providing the safety equipment and the tools required for us to be able to get that done. It's a big help for the town. So,
And then the fire department went out, I think it's the following Monday, and did Union Ave from Chestnut to Morse Lakes, which was, safety-wise, that was the best of use because we had the equipment to do it, so that's all done too, which came out good. But yes, we have to thank all our volunteers for that. It was another successful event, and it was really nice to have it at the park and people seeing what we're doing. I thought that was good. That was good. Okay, anybody else?
Maybe just two projects we got going. Hilltop, still rolling with Hilltop. Contractors in there. We haven't started sidewalks and curbs yet. And then tennis courts are underway, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, wrap that one up.
Yeah, I'm told it's being paved on Thursday, on the tennis courts. So that'll be really nice when that's done, because it's obviously, the nets we got, it's going to be set up for pickleball too. And being over there and playing softball and people hanging out there asking, are we gonna do something with pickleball? So I know Rec is looking to do a pickleball league. There's also a cornhole tournament that they're organizing, which is starting, I think it's in August. So if anybody wants to sign up for a team through Rec to join their cornhole league, that's the next big event that they're running. And then once the tennis courts are done, we're gonna have to come up with a plan, because I'm sure they're gonna wanna be used a lot, either for tennis or for pickleball. So there's gonna have to be a lot of time, so one group don't get it for 3 hours or 4 hours. So we're gonna have to come up with a plan for that to open and close the tennis courts, because we do not want bicycles or skateboards or any of that stuff on that new, on the two new courts. So, good, a lot of stuff getting done.
Another thing for the library, they mentioned that, like, your welcome packet that you give to people when they come into town, that it should have a library application card, like the library card application in it.
Okay, so all they have to do is
Give you a stack of them.
give them to Terry, and she'll add it into the welcome pack, and then when I deliver them, it'll be in there. Okay? Okay. Terry, you have anything? You good? Amy? Dawn? Okay. All right. Resolution number 2023, 6.61, consent agenda. But before we do this, item E is going to be removed. That person has pulled their name out of the hat to become the part-time shelter person. So we will take that resolution and put it in file. It'll stay as 6.5, but it'll be a void, so we don't have to renumber this whole thing. And then also, as we spoke before, J and K. J, if I'm doing this right, will be for $14,900 for the revab easement only. And K will be for $40,400 and it's for the paving of the construction parking lot only. Am I doing that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody knows that. So can I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Graziano Della Ripa. Any questions before we go to roll call? None, so roll call, please.
Della Ripa,
Yes?
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalana,
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Ten. So road construction for Orchard Walls, we did that, correct?
yeah.
So that's done?
No, that's
Oh, this is the order, okay. All right, okay. Second final reading, public hearing, bond ordinance 20-2023, road reconstruction, Orchard and Wallace. Public notice, date, and please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies were made available to the public, so that a motion may be made that it be read by title.
Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
Graziano. Del Ripa, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Mhm.
On ordinance number 2023, on ordinance providing for the reconstruction of various roads by and in the borough of Bloomingdale in the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, appropriating $900,000, therefore inclusive of the New Jersey Department of Transportation grant in the amount of $2,700 to $274,541, and authorizing the issuance of $625,459 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
Okay. Have a motion about public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Graziano Catalano. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak, please come up. Seeing no one, a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Graziano Catalano. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions before we go to vote? Roll call, please.
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Della Ripa,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Item B, purchase of vehicles, adoption of resolution number 2023 6.19, police vehicle, Chevrolet Tahoe under New Jersey State contract. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
The same. Any questions? Roll call.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Della Ripa,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. Adoption of resolution number 2023-6.20, DPW vehicle F-350 under New Jersey State contract. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Catalano,
Yes.
Della Ripa,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Okay. Item C, adoption of resolution number 2023-6.21, CFO and QPA appointment of Dorothy Gallagher. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All right, seeing none, before we go to vote, just want to, Dorothy is here. She is sitting back here, Dorothy Gallagher. She will be our new CFO in QPA and many other things. So welcome to the borough. And can I have a roll call, please?
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Della Ripa,
Yes.
Okay. Adoption of resolution 2023-6.22, appointment of supervisory pension certifying officer, Dorothy Gallagher. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. Adoption of resolution number 2023-6.23, add signatory of Borough Bank account, Dorothy Gallagher. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Catalano,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to all those positions.
Happy to have you.
Okay. New business, adoption of resolution number 2023-6.24, award contract for the water and sewer improvements on Orchard Street and Wallace Street project to MSP Construction Corporation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Delariva,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Item B, adoption of resolution number 2023-6.25, adopting an affirmative marking plan. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
You guys are really hot tonight. Any questions? Roll call.
Graziano,
Yes.
Schubert,
I abstain. I don't know what, I didn't read it, sorry.
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
keep forgetting.
Adoption of resolution 23-6.26, authorize and review of hardship request fees waiver, summer recreation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. Item D, introduction of ordinance number 23-2023, repeal and add new chapter 30 floodplain management regulations. Can I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's 23, right?
Yes, please.
An ordinance by the Borough Council amending the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 30 Flood Hazard Protection, to adopt a new Chapter 30 entitled the Floodplain Management Regulations, to adopt flood hazard maps, to designate the floodplain administrator, and providing for severability and effective date.
Okay. Yeah, that is, that's our next meeting? Is that gonna go back to the
Oh,
planning board?
final, no, that would be on June 27th.
June 27th.
Sorry.
Okay. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Introduction of ordinance number 24-2023, amending chapter 11, certificate of occupancy. Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 11 Building and Housing, Section 11-1.6, Certificate of Continued Occupancy for Commercial, Industrial, and Residential Premises of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Okay.
That's also final June 27th.
Everybody got that, June 27th? Introduction of ordinance number 25-2023, amending chapter 12, affordable housing. Do you have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
The usual. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to repeal Chapter 12, Low and Moderate Housing, and to establish a new Chapter 12 entitled Affordable Housing. That's also final June 27th.
This would have to go before the planning board, is that enough time?
Yes. They meet,
They need Thursday, they need this stuff up.
no, they meet the following. Mike, when's the planning board's next meeting?
22nd,
Second?
Wednesday, 28th, Wednesday, 28th.
Okay, so this has gotta go pushed out.
It's gotta be July.
Yeah. This is
Chapter
gonna be-
12 doesn't go to, no, Chapter 12 is 627,
We're
this will
good
be
with
us. Only 92s.
I'm sorry, I was looking ahead one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, this is June 27th.
This is the
Okay, so
27th.
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, the
I think
next,
G, the next one's
all
good.
the next ones are July.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
92s.
all the 92s
92s
are,
have to go.
I
So
was
G
looking
through
ahead.
N will have.
first
Okay.
day back.
It is, doesn't matter, it doesn't go to you guys.
Item G, introduction of ordinance number 26-2020, amending Chapter 92 zoning, one-family R40TH zone. Do I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Yep.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 12, Schedule of Regulations, Section 92-48, R41, Family Residential and 2 Townhouse Zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
And that one will be on July, right,
That's
that's the
July
one that has to go,
18th.
so that'll be July 18th. Okay. Item H, introduction of ordinance number 27-2023, amended Chapter 92 zoning conditional uses. Have a motion, please, to read by title.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good. An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 5, regulations governing certain uses, Section 92-24, additional uses of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale,
And that one also is July
July 18th.
18th. Okay. Item I, introduction of ordinance number 28-2023, amending Chapter 92 zoning, garden apartment zone R-G. Do you have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second?
Catalano, Garciano, or Garciano, Catalano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Yep.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 12, Schedule for Regulations, Section 92-49, RG, Garden Apartment Zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Okay.
And that's final, so July 18th as well.
Okay. Item J, introduction of ordinance number 29-2023, amending Chapter 92 zoning in town, town apartment and senior housing zone RM. Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
You be good with that? Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 12, Schedule for Regulations, Section 92-50, RM, in-town apartment and senior citizen housing zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. And that's
Okay.
final July 18th as well.
Yep. Introduction of ordinance number 30-2023, amending Chapter 92 zoning, general business zone B1. Do I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay?
Yep.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale and the County of Passaic and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 12, Schedule for Regulations, Section 92-55, B-1, General Business Zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. Final July 18th.
Item L, introduction of ordinance number 31-2023, amending Chapter 92 zoning, commercial zone B1A. Do I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay?
Yep.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale in the County of Passaic and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning, Article 12, Schedule schedule of regulations, section 92-55.1, B-1-A, commercial zone of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. Final July 18th.
Item N, introduction of ordinance number 32-2023, amended chapter 92, zoning, BCD zone. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, the County of Passaic, in the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92, zoning, Article 12, schedule for regulations, Section 92-55.2, Bloomingdale Center District Zone, BCD of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. Final July 18th.
Okay. Item N, introduction of ordinance number 33-2023, authorizing convenience of snow plowing to the borough, snow plow to the borough of Oakland. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, authorizing the conveyance of the borough's 2 snowplows to the Borough of Oakland for a total consideration of $12,000. Final June 27th.
Okay. Almost there. Okay, we do have the one non-agenda item, resolution 2023-6.27, to apply for the Municipal Drug Alliance grant that is due. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I do have a question on this one, though. What is the in-kind? Could you just explain that?
In-kind services, when the police officers go to the school to teach a class, their time is considered in-kind, and we get a dollar figure towards that. We have to match 50% of them, so we'll get 75 if it's in-kind, 25 if the cash match on us, and ours is get the grant for the $6,160.
Gotcha, that's helpful, thank you.
Usually our in-kind is way over the top.
Yes.
We get, when they're at the Unity event, we get it for us being at the Unity event as well, for in-kind service, so our in-kind is we're well on that, so.
Okay, so what is it, like 25 cents when I go to the Unity event?
Yeah, about that.
That's about what I'm worth, thank you.
That alarm, yeah.
Issue a minute, that's good. Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
Everybody? Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can we have a motion to open up late public comment?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak? You good? Okay. Okay, motion to close late public comment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do not have anything for executive session tonight. Again, Dorothy, welcome
Yeah.
to the borough. Get ready. It's gonna be exciting stuff. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Our-
Second?
Okay, our next meeting is June 20th.
20th.
There's a special meeting, shouldn't last too long, and our regular meeting will be June 27th. Can I have an all in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, see you then, thank you.